Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Summertime. Well, springtime. We're not quite to summertime, but spring and summer. Get your team registered. Got some great tournaments coming up. We're going to be out starting with the Spring Showdown. It's our first one out at the new place, Warrenton Turf. Going to be a lot of fun. Got some great stuff coming up there. I-70 Showdown. Got the World Series. You know, I know it's not the world, but still. It's big for the youth kids.
Absolutely.
That's right. It'll be a lot of fun. Dave and Dave will be out there. We got giving away baseball cards again. Got great trivia. We got some new stuff coming. You're going to have to show up on Saturdays to check it out. But we'll be out there with our interviews. Got the highlights going. Game7Baseball.com. All right. Today, GAC preview. We're continuing. We have with us in the studio for the second year in a row, head coach, Washington High School, Dane Gough. Coach.
How we doing?
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed the conversation last year. You guys had a great run at it. And then I saw a lot of your guys out at the state championships. They had another good run to Alabama.
Yes.
In the Mid-South of the American Legion. They had a good run.
Yeah, you're a great group of guys. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah.
Hey, listen, Sam Pauley was the best player at the state championships.
Yeah, he was
for American Legion. He was.
Yeah.
By far.
We will miss Sam Pauley this year. He was a all-conference, first-team all-conference. He was the G.A.C. Central Player of the Year, first-team All-State. So, and now he's having a hot start at State Fair. I know that. So I texted him this weekend. I said, "Buddy, we're gonna need the secret stuff that you got, like the whole Michael." I sent the Michael Jordan Bugs Bunny. I sent that to him, and he's like, "Killing me, coach." So, yeah, it's because it's starting off well. So, and great kid. Obviously, he's put the work in, put the time in.
Yeah.
And so it's happy for him.
He's a heck of a ball player.
Yes.
He really is. You know, I guess we'll go ahead and pour salt on it, Coach. Yeah, might as well. Trentman, Matchell, Junkin, Pekka, your center fielder. You graduated a lot of really good players from a really good baseball team. It's the way it works sometimes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of it. You're gonna, have those good runs and 27 wins. That's the school record for wins in a season. It was a phenomenal run. We won our first conference title in 30 years. So in the GAC Central, we went 9-1 in conference. We swept everybody, and we split with South. So
which wasn't easy to do.
Oh no, they're obviously a Final Four team. I think they finished fourth in state last year.
Yes,
so
third.
Was a third. Yeah. I couldn't remember if they won or lost that game. I knew. So
yep.
Yeah, it was. They're bringing. I know they're bringing back their two horses, if not more. So yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate for the rest of the GAC Central, but let's talk a little bit about that. Let's start with pitching.
Yeah.
Having to replace those guys, that's going to be a tall task.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some names you got for us? Who are the guys in that front running there for you, Coach?
Yeah. So the first one I would name, let's say, is bring up is Kaner Young. So Kaner was our 3 or 4 last year. Mm-hmm. You said Trentman, Junkin, Matchell. Kaner was number 3. He sometimes was a weekend guy. We started. Sometimes he was the first guy in relief. So he's committed to ECC as a senior. So he's finishing up his basketball season, and he'll be ready to go. I know. So that's, I would say, are going into it our number 1. Got a couple younger guys we talked about. Ben Lozine will be a kid that will compete on the mound. And then another Legion kid, and Mason Tice is going to be a junior. He threw for us early in the season last year. He actually closed the game against Seckman early in the season, which they were a quality team. So he got us some experience that way. And then I would say a contributor we'll have will be a sophomore. Who was probably our best JV player last year, and Andrew Elbert. So I think he will contribute on the mound at some point this year too. So those are the names that early in the season I'd like to give you. So.
And just folks, we know this is kind of, and it's tough. You never know. Mm-hmm. You are rebuilding a little bit, but you do have expectation for these kids, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. That's something with this preseason, what they do now with Misha lets us go through, have expectations or having preseason workouts. It was a lot of guys. This isn't good enough. it's the tempo. That was the thing I kept talking about. It's just the urgency. I said the urgency has got to improve. We're not replacing. We're going to have some building, but like you said, the tempo has got to just pick it up, and that's early. And then we're young. We're going to be pretty young. So
I think that's a great way to put that. We're not replacing. You have to just reload, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not as good as that group was last year. They're not going to be that group. It's a brand new group, and it's something. That's what's great. It's good and bad about coaching because there's new kids that come in every year, and you got to continue to build and continue to grow. So,
let me ask you this, Coach. From that group, and I think third or fourth year?
This is my fourth year.
Yeah. Yep. Culture-wise, it is building that culture. You had a great group. How is that culture then setting that expectation level as those guys come up as freshmen, JV? So now here, you're not leaning on seniors, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the other players.
Right.
You got to come up and get your mind in there. And how does the culture help that?
Yeah, the biggest thing that happens for us is that we practice together 9-12. So all of our kids, because of our facility there, which you'll get to check out in April, I believe. It's
I'll let you know what's going on.
Okay, there you go. No worries. Well, anyway, whenever you get a chance to check it out,
we will do it.
Our softball, baseball fields are right next to each other, and so we can do a lot of things on the softball field inside the 200-foot fence for infield wise, field and bunts, anything. So, and we have three tunnel cages, so we can get a lot done in that area. So we practice together all the time. So our freshmen are seeing the older guys, how they develop, how they go about their business in practice. So that really helps them continue to develop. So,
yeah, you haven't seen it yet, probably, but and I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I was going back and forth, and Liberty and South are playing that same week.
Yeah,
and we went with Liberty at South, and I just was like, that matchup is just.
Well, yeah, you can't pass it over with.
Way too intense. I want to get out, but I like the East. I like that matchup as well. I think that's going to be and that's the tough thing when you trying to pick one game out of a week out of the North, Central, and the South.
Yeah, I just thought I'd seen that on a schedule.
Yes,
put it out?
originally I had set that.
So yeah, check your stuff out.
We made some changes, so my apologies for not letting you know. But we do want to get out there, and we will. Yeah. We will. But we do have you, of course. You guys are at the G.A.C. Classic on that Wednesday.
Correct.
And I believe you're playing
Liberty.
Is it Liberty?
It is Liberty.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Because, it's North and South, and you guys got that middle game, and that's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, the GAC Central, in my opinion, or the GAC conference as a whole is the best baseball conference in the state of Missouri, in my opinion.
There you go.
And that's fine. And we aren't on the big boy level, but there's a reason they have classes for a reason. So we compete on the Class 5 level. So, and that's something where, we do our best to compete at a high level.
The GAC is strong.
Yeah.
It is a strong conference.
Right.
I look at the other ones. I know what's there.
Right.
And, the west side of the state, we've been doing more in Kansas City. But, man, and that's what you have to realize, because all of them do that as well.
Right.
Kansas City Suburban, St. Louis Suburban, they all set themselves by classes because you just can't. I mean, you don't want St. Charles West in the South.
No.
I mean, they're a really good Class 4 team.
Absolutely.
I mean, they've got 3 straight district titles, but they're not playing at that level. They don't have the depth to it.
No. Well,
now, you put Goring on the mound, you might compete for a little while.
Right? Absolutely.
You put Trentman on the mound for a little while. Yeah. Last year, you guys are going to compete with anybody. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, if you talk to Coach Perkins about it, he's not happy about it still.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. So there's always those dudes that transcend the class.
Correct.
So that's always fun. Pitching wise, I always look at defense now. You lost Pekka in center field. You lost your shortstop. That middle of the field, who's behind the plate? How are you setting, is it competition, or do you have a thought process to who might be taking those roles?
I mean, we got some ideas, but obviously we're going into it as a clean competition. So last year it was pretty straightforward. I think Sam Pauly's going to be our shortstop. I think Aiden Pekka's going to be our center fielder, and there wasn't much debate about it. Well, this year it's pretty wide open, and honestly, on the other side of that, the coaching side of it, it's kind of exciting because it kind of relights your flame a little bit of, hey, we got to figure out who's the best person for this job is going to be. So I think there are some names out there. I think Bob brought a few of them up already. Your ones are going to compete on the mound are also going to compete in the field for sure. So,
how many kids do you have normally? You know, I know you're Class 5. I don't know where you are in as far as I think you're right around 1,000 as far as enrollment somewhere.
So
in there.
the mission numbers around 1,000, but we're about 1,250, 1,300 total. Wow. So we're
on the larger side of a Class 5.
Correct. Yeah, I would say the larger third of Class 5. Yeah. So.
How many kids do you usually get coming out for your club?
So we do have 3 teams. So we do have a C team still, and we're able to run that. I would say overall, there's a program. We'll probably have between, I'd say, 60 to 70 kids come out. Probably, I'd say that's about right. We'll probably about 30, 35 freshmen will come out and try out, and then kind of whittle its way down. So we do have a small senior class. So there's only going to be 5 seniors. So I don't think we're going to have any show up out of the woodwork of who's this kid. So, but so with kind of knowing that set, that's kind of makes the numbers a little smaller.
So who are you looking at competing for those spots that in the center field at shortstop? Who are some of those guys?
Let's see. So up the middle. So center field, I would say Ben Losing will be one of the junior. I think Hunter Bakermeyer will maybe not necessarily be in a position to start or center, but I think if I were to rank going into the preseason, I think he's going to contribute at a corner outfield position and maybe play some of that outfield, center field. And then at shortstop, I think you're looking at the 2 Mason Tice being a junior at shortstop. Mm-hmm. Sophomore Andrew Elbert may possibly be in there. Competing for those spots.
I'm glad you said Mason's last name because I was going to say Thies.
Yeah. So it's Tice. So it's because first time I saw it too. See, he had an older brother. Blake was his name, and that was unfortunate. The 2020 year was the COVID year. He was a senior. That was going to be a good group of kids, and it's just talk about that. There was a good group of kids there, and they lost out. But Mason looked to contribute there for sure.
Well, I like, Ben Losing, as you said, it's center field, but this kid had a 2.50 ERA. He was 3-2 last year. He's definitely going to be that. Offensively, like you said, that's going to be an interesting thought process. What about, there's a couple other names here in Ethan Rowe and Weston Meyer. Yeah. How are those guys figuring into the mix?
Well, Weston was a senior, so Weston did graduate. But
he graduated
yes,
already?
He did.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
That's all good. Ethan Rowe, I'm sorry, Ethan, wherever you are when you watch this. I haven't said your name yet. But, he's going to contribute. He will look at you amount. He's actually a Westminster commit, too. So he's committed to Westminster, which is awesome. Good place to him. And that's where Pekka is now, too. So, so I think Ethan will also contribute on the mound, I think, at some point for us and probably slide into one of those quarter infield positions. So
now, who's a guy that's going to really, we looked at Hayden Burns here early. Mm-hmm. 13 runs, scoring 15, or he drove in 13, scored 15. That's pretty good production. Yeah. Double digits on both sides. Mm-hmm. If you can get double digits in runs scored and RBIs, that's good production.
Absolutely.
In high school, right?
Oh, I agree. Yeah. So I say he's going to, if you're going off of the previous, that he would be definitely the person to start the offensive streak.
And that's what I look at.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he's a North Plains guard. Is it North Plains? Commit the new school.
Missouri State West Plains.
West Plains. That's in North Plains. Yep. West Plains. So he's committed there next year. So that's awesome. So I think he's going to lead the way. I think Kaner Young is going to have to hit for us some this year too, and then Hunter Bakermeyer. So those are the 3 seniors. They were all Tigers kids at this last season, the last few years. So those 3 going that way. Ethan Rowe. So there's my four my seniors, and my 5th senior unfortunately had Tommy John last year. So he'll be working his way back. But I gotta say his name. So Sam Struberg. He's a great kid, and I'm sure if he can find a way to contribute, he will. So. those are our 5 seniors going that way. The catch, so you're staying up the middle. Let's just stay there. So the catching will be split most likely between a junior named Ryan Casabam. So if you ever saw that name yet, you're talking about fun names. It's a good Washington improvement.
You guys got some tough ones down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good old Germantown down there. Yeah, Casabam is his name. So I would think he starting quarterback last year on the football team. So he's got some leadership type qualities and look to use that as in the catching aspect of it. Another young man that will challenge Ryan for catching time will be a sophomore named Colton Carrier. So young man's got live stick, just seeing what he's done in preseason with these workouts we talked about. So I think both of those guys will look to contribute for us on the field, either behind the plate or somewhere in the field. So,
sweet.
Yeah.
So you got some guys that you're going to – that sound like you can depend on up the middle defensively. Because, I mean, with pitching and defense, that's baseball.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, offensively, those things go in waves.
Right.
And that happens. But one of the things that's interesting here, Coach, is we're talking about these guys. You got guys coming back from that team last year. Mm-hmm. You do. It's a small group of seniors, but it's still how do you expect them to take those kids under their wing and bring that attitude towards this season? Right.
Well, I think I had a good example of that earlier this season when our workout, we had one of our players one of the older guys was getting on the younger guy about how something was done. And I said, stop. I go, don't complain, lead. Like, if you don't like it, tell them what to do. Don't just say, hey, so that was, right. So that was and that's something I think we talked about the joint practices and kind of like said, setting that expectation of this isn't good enough. We've got to do better. And then helping them develop, not just, just saying, hey, Brian, go run a mile and you're not even give you any tools to help you get there. So That's something as our coaching staff, we got to do to make sure we're coaching them up and putting them in position, putting all our players in positions to be successful. So.
Got to have that leadership. And I think, no matter how many seniors you have, especially coming off the season you had, they've got to understand how to take that experience and help the other guys understand what that means. I think that's greatly important.
Absolutely. And I think you're just talking about our summertime. These young guys have had a lot of success in their summer ball of playing the Legion ball. So I think that's another way they can grow and know what it takes to be a winning type program.
And I do, because we have Kent G.A.C. We talked to him a lot working with Legion ball. I really like Kent. He runs a great Legion program. Yeah. And a lot of your kids go and play in the summer. That helps. Right. Because they did. They won the state championship last year. Then they're in the Mid-South. They get to the Final Four there in that regional. Man, that's no joke.
Yeah, you're absolutely. It's a good level of baseball, and those kids did a tremendous job. So,
and that's a learning process for a lot of those kids, and experience that's valuable coming back to high school.
I agree. Yeah, I guess they were getting that experience playing those 40 plus games and being able to compete at a high level.
And it doesn't hurt. I think G.A.C. does a good job coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he gets his guys ready to go. There's no doubt about that.
So talk to us then a little bit about all these guys, this mix. You got all these guys coming in. How does your freshman JV look?
Well, yes, I think we had I know we had a good freshman class last year. Now going to be a JV class. I think they're going to continue to build, and I know they are going to be hungry and wanting to continue to do well. I think there's a few arms down there that are going to continue to develop. I know a lefty he's put a lot of time in. His name's Colton Warnicki. I think he's putting a lot of time in and getting better and developing. And, we talked about the repercussions of that group that just left. Yeah. A lot of those guys saw how people went about their business and, how Junkin prepared, how Trentman prepared, how Nashville prepared, how these guys got ready, not even, just in season, but during the off season as well. And they're trying to replicate that. So, why would you not want to try to replicate that? So
absolutely.
So it was good to see. It's good to see those kids that are continuing to grow and develop for sure.
Now, and I know we're not going to get down there. talk to us about. Did you guys have lights down there? Don't you?
No,
Not yet.
Not yet. We're
Just
in
just
the
turf.
process.
In the process.
Yep. Yeah. So it might happen. So.
Well, we'll definitely. I got to drive down. Excuse me, just at some point, just watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love to have you down, and if it's something not GAC, but the crosstown rivalry, that's always a good one to come down to because we do play home. Conference in GAC is Tuesday, Wednesday, home and home.
Right.
Well, we decided, Coach Struckoff and I, Rob Struckoff, we do, I really do like it, a home and home with Borgia on a Friday, Saturday.
Ooh.
So that's always talk about a big event. That's something where a little crosstown rival going on. So, and we do it, and we used to not play for a while. We didn't play, Borgia Washington didn't play baseball for a few years, but we both realized that, hey, this is, our kids get up for it. It's a high level. It's like a playoff game type feel. Always has a playoff.
It's better for both teams.
Right, absolutely. And that's how I'm always looking to compete because if you go in, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to compete at a highest level, but also you want to have some success at competing at that high level. Right. So a little chicken and the egg going on. So, so more of that, but that with being said, It's always a great opportunity. So we did that last year as well, and we just said we play Friday, Saturday. So it's kids always get up for it.
I'm gonna have to put that chica on the deal for schedules.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, and I would think we would probably be district opponents probably again, so you could see possibly quite a good pitching matchup for sure. So.
Yeah.
So
most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, do you got your brother on the schedule?
Not technically, but we will most likely be in the Troy Classic together.
Troy Classic,
because Zumwalt West always hosts one, and so I will probably. I haven't seen the schedule outcome of that, but I requested to put in the West bracket so we can play.
Yeah, I shot Coach Rogers an email, and he said he hadn't got it quite yet, but he gave me all. I know you guys were both in it, so
yes. So that's something where. We don't do both of them. We don't do that and the Midwest Classic, but we do the Troy tournament, and then on top of that following. So that's the Friday, Saturday, and then the following week is the final of the Troy Classic. Then we will host Troy for a doubleheader that following Saturday.
Oh wow!
So that's kind of like that's our first set. Yeah, that's our first 7 games. So you do Troy tournament.
Coach, that's brutal.
I like, but then I like it though because you're fine, you're good. I think it's a good litmus test because you see early in the season where you're going to be, and then you want to be the best, you got to beat the best kind of deal. And
I agree.
To quote the famous Ric Flair. So exactly.
You just hit one right there.
Yeah, exactly. I firmly believe that though. If you want to play at a high level, and then you got to do well. And then dealing with scheduling, one of my assistant coaches comes up to me and says, "Are you crazy? What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Why in the world did you pick up Festus?"
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. We're going to Festus for a doubleheader on a Saturday. So
Coach, just
yeah.
Well, and this is the thing. You think about it. Okay, so on your schedule at the Troy, you probably face your brother's team, which they were 32-6 last year, something crazy like
silly.
that.
Yeah,
and then lost in the district final to Howell, who took third place last year. Mm-hmm. You got Fort Zumwalt South twice, finishing that. Francis Borgia twice. Second place in Class 5. Festus, state champions.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Dang.
Let's go, baby.
That is a brutal schedule.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And
I love it.
I know that when it went to district seed time, and I said, this is our record. Here's who we've played. Here's who we split with Zumwalt South.
Right.
We had beaten Howell and had some other success. Well, when you say those kind of things in a district seed meeting,
district seeding's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We had split with Borgia at that time too. We had split with Borgia, so that means something. So
and who was in your district last year?
It was us. It was Helias. It was Borgia. It was Union. It was Pacific. Cap City.
Goodness.
I'm missing some. Raleigh. It was in Pacific. Pacific's got
Pacific is a good high. They had a really good baseball team
and
last year.
He's bringing, Coach Meyer is bringing all that back there too. So
Dang. Union's always a solid club, and Borgia and then Helias. That's no cakewalk.
Right.
Wow. That was a tough district.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't expect it to be any different this year because I don't think so. Washington, the location, we kind of are a little too far out with being Class 5, a little too far out to get grouped in St. Louis County. Like the Rockwood Summit type, that size. And there's not enough Class 5s to really get it to St. Charles County. So we get lumped in with the Jeff City and Columbia schools a lot, which is fine. Like it's what it is, but that's something where you want to play at a high level. So
I'm always curious how you guys got in the GAC because you're really the only school that's just kind of like, wait a minute, Washington?
Right. And absolutely. We are a big fish in the small pond. We're the biggest school in Franklin County, but we also are in Warren County and in St. Charles County. So the school district of Washington is actually the second largest district geographically in the state versus North Kansas City. So like mileage. So there are legitimately some kids in our school. Like if you are a student in Labadie and you have a buddy that lives in Augusta, it'll take 30 minutes to drive because you have to drive into town, into Washington, go across the river, and come back around on the north side of the river.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's part of it though. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So.
And
that's something. But to add to that, there's a lot of community pride in the high schools in both of them. More. I wish it was more Blue Jay, but because it's more centrally located. Because you go by Washington High School on a Friday, Saturday night, there's 10, 15 cars there because the kids are meeting at the high school to go do whatever they're going to do after that. Because that's just that, hey, we'll meet me at the high school. So it's something, it's a prideful type thing. I
like it. Well, look, folks, just what Coach said. Get out there and support that team. Mm-hmm. I think Coach Gough has got them going in the right direction. Yeah, a little youthful, but I think you'll be all right. Yeah. If you're anything like your brother, you'll have those boys ready to play.
That's the plan. So he's the smarter little brother, so and older.
A little older. I opened that can of worms, didn't I?
Oh no,
sorry, Coach.
That's all good. So he calls me this is my bigger little brother, and I said that's my older smaller brother.
Get out there and support these guys. Baseball's free.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Go out and support them. Be out there. Make sure get the community, get mom and dad, go out and support. GAC baseball is for real. And this schedule is going to be good. You're going to see some top arms. You're going to see some top level baseball. So make sure you get out to Washington, see a baseball game, support these guys. Coach.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
As always.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Folks, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. I got the hat too. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
And hit that dinger next to it because that's what we do. Hit some dingers. Yeah. Chicks dig the long ball. I like it. I like it. And that will get you notifications for upcoming episodes such as this where you get information you get nowhere else, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Straight from the coach's mouth. I love that stuff. That's the way we roll. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes, and hitters, give them some advice, Coach.
Let's see. Long through the zone. Stay on plane.
I like it. That's some detail stuff. We'll see y'all next time.